Hey, what's for lunch today? Anybody know? Yeah. Wait a minute. Is this thing doing this now? How come that face and that face aren't doing it? Oh, it's several seconds delayed. You mean it's gonna talk at me this whole time? Is this thing doing this now? How come that face and that face aren't doing it?
Oh, Mr. Ellis, you can mute it.
This is what, where do I mute? But then does it not then record? How are the people? If I do that, is it still gonna record?
You can mute it here. Yeah, there you go.
Like, sit here and go, you're so good looking. Yeah. But seriously, is it not then going there to YouTube?
Oh, they can still hear it.
They still hear it. It's just, it's not coming through my speaker. Okay, all right. I think I can live with that. I got a dumb question. If Stephen were here and with us right now, when we talk to him, we're live, right? But this part is well behind. You know what I'm saying? If he was here, we'd be talking and we'd hear each other in real time. If I leave this like this, it will record me with a conversation 6 seconds behind. Okay, I'm gonna check this out. I gotta do it once, see what happens. So we'll see.
This part of the book can be assigned at some point.
Say again?
Is this part can be assigned at some point? The chapter 3.
What, tell me what, let me see the first page of it. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do study guide. Okay. But that is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to come up here? Yeah, go ahead. Your parents have paid enough money. I think you can come up and talk to me. So long as we don't get upset at each other.
Okay, so Melvin is inactive, it's stable, right?
Inactive?
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. You do know that sometimes I'm wrong, right?
No, you're always right. Joe.
Uh,
I don't have any doubts. So the suffix OYT decomposition, I was looking that
which
up.
one? This year?
Yeah. I could not find it.
You didn't, did you look it up just as LYT?
Yeah.
And what
And
did it say?
it said like,
Decomposition.
yeah, it didn't have it. So it switched it to lytic and then lysis and refers to it as decomposition. Because it didn't have it with just LYT.
Oh, it piqued my interest. Let me see here. Yeah, that's the part all these things are all running into.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called the doc. All right, so give me a second here. What in the world here? Okay, so let's go. This is study guide, right? Right, ma'am?
Yes. The
Chemical
Chapter
basis
2.
of life, yeah. I'm curious now that you said this. dissolvable. Did you get that anywhere in there?
I just said decomposition, but in here it had just decomposition, dissolution, destruction. So same thing as dissolvable.
Oh, yeah.
And then also for sin, I couldn't find anything for sin, so it just said an addition reaction.
Yeah, what kind of reaction? Together is what that means, together. Sin. Synthesis to
Okay.
put together. Should help.
Yes. So why are isotopes useful in the treatment of cancer? I just said because you're using something that's already from the body and it gives off radiation that can kill cancer cells. Like, that's right.
Is that this one too?
Or they're off.
What'd they say? Gold.
So they're using something from the body to help.
Is two of them?
Number two is the question. And I just said, like, when you're already using something that's already been inside the body to kill something else that's inside the body, I thought that would be better than pulling something from the outside. And it gives off radiation that can kill bad.
The cancer cells. Yes, it will, but it kills good cells too.
Right.
And that's its risk. But the idea is I don't have to go through chemo where every single cell of my body is affected. Radiation is kind of local, so the cells that get zapped
Radiation you can,
are
like,
right
you
here.
can target, right?
You can target pretty well. And the other part is, the last part, I would say that would be a cool part of that answer is you don't have to have surgery. Surgery has a much more of a risk than many people realize. Sometimes the older we get, that risk just becomes greater. Is that good?
Right. Yes. And then this one, it says the shape of protein molecules is maintained by its, I said, hydrogen and covalent bonds.
Maintaining the shape of what?
It's maintained by its hydrogen and covalent bonds. This one, number three.
It's,
Well, it's maintained by like its structures, but
hydrogen,
covalent bonds.
covalent, yes. I would say that there are,
Do you see what's in it?
yes, Van der Waals forces, I'd say, is there too. And
Okay.
or I would say peptides. That's what holds one added amino acid to the next one. But it's a covalent bond too. So.
And then the nucleic acids are RNA and DNA, right?
Mhm. And there's one more.
And
They don't have free, but there are
ATP.
ATP.
Okay, I think that is it. All right.
Wow.
Sweet. Thank
Ooh,
you.
that's so good. You must have got your mommy smart today.
You got it. Wow.
Yeah. There's a month of substance, so how many carbons? So that's C6. Okay. How many oxygens? Yep, right, 6 more. So C6. but you're going down the way here. Let's, if you're ready to make it. Put that on that. This is, and if you watch it, she says age 12, age 12, count age. 12. 66, age 1206. In 166, age 1206 is. My ordinary stuff. You let me, but yes, you said that you will. It's just a sweet. Okay, he's not getting answer. Let's go down a little lower than that. That is. Makes sense. Tell her. She said, she's sure. Nope. All of this is what you have. All this. All of that. So I take any substance. Double displacement, single displacement, synthesis, and composition.
This was the first semester last year.
See, I'm going over a year later. You want to see this stuff?
I don't remember, but I mean, I just don't remember.
Do you see one that broke apart?
This is
What? Decompose.
no, it's not.
Decomposition. That one got it. Now, let's see. This plus this, it's just like this. Yeah. And one is reversible. I would say that's reversible. What I call that. Reversible synthesis and composition.
But it's reversible because we just take that away.
That's here, it's only the one that's. But those, these two, one of these is back. Yeah. So really, the
pH
power of,
action.
yeah. How what's the scale? The numbers. From 1 to
Oh, dude. So that's 14.
so it's not like you just power of hydrogen. This is a substance. These. This is a hydrogen. Yeah, and this also says these have water.
Yes.
Some there.
Thank you.
Do you ever work with it?
I heard that.
Boy, you need to keep, we need to get her back in the suite. We need to get her in the suite back. Carry things for you. Say it again.
We're grading at 11.
11:10. Did I do that right? So is that like 45 minutes? 25, is that right? So I do 35. Yeah, 4 hours.
Are you going to post the answer key like you did for the last?
Okay, see what I did behind me here?
Mhm.
So I'll just do this and read the answers
Okay.
like that. Well, I'll have it bigger. I probably should do that. So if you get lost, you can see where I am.
Sounds good.
Does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
Good. I need to tell you that this is a little slow spot in the glitch of the year. Next chapter will be 5 chapters worth of information all in one chapter. So that will be
Mm.
just a challenge of how fast can you review it.
Mhm.
The one after that's going to be just like this. And then we start getting into the lab things, which I have not yet figured out. In fact, I could probably rely on your brain on how to do that because, for example,
What type of labs
are you
they?
caught? Are you done?
Mhm.
Uh, I had a couple thoughts. We can only put one person per table with when we do cats and such. We have a huge straightforward cat out.
Yeah.
It can be right there at your desk right here, and you all are 6 feet apart. Now it's not the best situation, but it can be done. Microphones, microscopes, which would be our starting point
Mhm.
when we get out of that chapter 4. And we're only going to go to chapter 7, bones. Or even that, when I do that, I can have bones out back there, have you work on a lab here and then rotate
Mhm. That would
through
work.
that. But I need chords. How many people are in this? Let's see. Okay.
Maybe we could get some like extra long like power strips, and then get
I've seen these like 25-foot ones that have a 3-head end.
Mhm.
If I went from that spot on the wall to that spot by Sarah, and we took maybe the first one on that strip, can we, what would that be? Like what I just said, that'd be, we took 2 into that one, that'd be 6. That could be, yeah, I think that would do it. That would get, but we could only have 6 back there at a time. So I need 4 of those triple hitters.
Well, we could get like extension cords and then have like a power strip where you have like 8 or more. And then we could run those so then, well, how long are the cords for the microscopes already? They're not terribly long, are they?
Uh, So, here's the question. Computer, sit down, go to your chair. Sit down in your chair with your computer. Get around one. Right here. So,
Oh.
that's that. Yeah, I have it. Water with black wolves. Okay. Thank, appreciate it. But that, when you sit at that. And permission. Be right back. Raise your hand, not donors. Not donors, raise your hand. Good. How many more minutes you need? Wow. And about you, man? No, are we so far? Yeah. Oh, isn't that a handsome beer? Look at that. Looks like I've been sitting in an hourglass. What you got, ma'am? Hey, did I get the, oh, you still have it. Can you just download that to your computer and then give me the thumb drive back? I found it today just to tell you. Can you go to chapter 2, key, find the chapter 2 key. That one, that's not the one I put that. Oh, you won't have that yet. Okay, hold on. Oh, it's gonna be back up. Try AJ. That one, second one. Okay, let's go back one. Go up one. See what it's, yeah. Try that. See what it says. Scroll. No, let me do it. Okay, go back. I had this. Go back one. Back up the chain. Okay, now out of this and up. Try Ellis. No. Try study guide answers. Fit. Where is this thing? I know I did it this morning. So, and this is the one I have on there right now. Yeah, I do. Okay, so no, 2 is done. I don't know if I numbered it correct. Still numbered it correct. There I numbered it correct. Right, 42, 43. Okay, see if I'm messing up here. Okay, then I even put where an answer had to be put in. You see what I did there? There we are. The only thing that need to be done on this one is make sure that I didn't answer those. I think these we just talk about when we do it, but these are numbered correctly. I need the quiz, the study guide I give them has to be those numbers. But you don't have this, right? Okay, but do you have this version?
No.
Because I didn't do anything to it. Where did I go to get this? Let me back out and see where it was. Okay, hang on a second. So this, oh, right here. Study guide answers, study guides. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So right there, see where it says study guide answers in the first folder. That should, the 2 in there should be that. Elsewhere. I did move it from elsewhere. I pulled it up on a screen. So in one of those other ones, you'll find that one with the answers, and it will be complete. Then your job is just to make sure that what I give them has the same numbers.
So do you want me to just keep the chapter 1 study guide and the international answers with corresponding numbers on the virtual?
Yeah. Well, on your hard drive, but not mine. I want that one back. So you already saved this?
Yes.
Okay, I can have it back then.
Yes, just let me transfer.
Sure, sure. Good. Okay, how about it? Who is not done? Raise your hand, not doners. We good? Everybody's done? Okay, good. Here's what we're gonna do. The plan is I'm gonna put it on the screen behind me. We're gonna grade it. And then you're gonna submit it to the on campus. Do we all understand each other there, what we're gonna do? This is the goal. Okay, so you need to have your stylus pen ready to go so that you can mark yes, no, like, in other words, you don't want to mark anything correct. That's stupid. When it's wrong, you'd like to know what the answer is. So mark it wrong and then make sure you can quickly write the answer down. All right, does that make sense? Okay, you pull this up here. There I am. If you're not done, you can just head to the hall there to the bench. All right, here we go. Number 1 is A, true. Wait a minute, I thought something was wrong. I got way too comfortable there. That's what happened. All right. Number 2, chemistry. Number 3, matter is anything that has weight and takes up space or volume. It occurs in forms of solid, liquid, and gases. Number 4, elements. 5, carbon is C, H is hydrogen, O is oxygen, N is nitrogen. Number 6, all the above. Number 7, A is 3, B is 1, C is 2. 8, protons. 9, A, electrons. 10, C, isotopes. 11, the outer shell or outer energy level of its atoms has its max number of electrons. 12, protons and neutrons. 13, A, an atom is electrically charged. 14 is A positive and a negative ion attracting each other. 15, A is shared by 2 atoms. 16, hydrogen bond. 17, different. 18, molecular. 19, structural. 20, synthesis and decomposition. 21, reversible. 22, catalyst. 23, acids. 24, bases. 25, hydrogen ions. What's the pH of a neutral concentration? 7. 27, electrolyte. 28, what am I doing? 8, A is I, B is O, C is O, D is I, E is O, fat is O. 29, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. 30, fatty acids and a glycerol. 31, lipids. 32, protein. 33, denatured. 34, A, store information and control processes. 35 is 2. 37 is sweet. 39 is fats. 41 is dissolvable. 36, 1. 38, many. 40 is sugar, and 42 is together. Sorry, I said the numbers out of sync there. 43, what's the subject matter of chemistry? Basically, it's a composition of matter and how it changes one way or another. 44, chemistry is essential for understanding biology, anatomy and physiology, because the structure and the function of the body result from the chemical changes in the cell. So whatever that is, as far as chemistry is going on, it's going to come out in function and anatomy. 45, matter. 46, elements. 47, atoms. 48, molecules. 49, neutrons and protons. 50, electron. Number 51 is oxygen. Number 52 is nitrogen. 53 is carbon, or C. That's symbol, I guess, there. Then 54 is Mg. 55 is hydrogen. 56 is CO. 57 is nitrogen, or N. 58 is copper. 59 is calcium. 60 is fluorine. 61 is phosphorus. 62 is I. 63 is potassium. 64 is iron. 65 is S. 66 is manganese. 67 is chlorine. 68 is zinc, or Zn. Atomic number 11, that would be 70 or 69. 70 is 7 more, 8 in total. 71 active, 72 sodium, Na sodium. Draw diagrams of an ionic bond and covalent bond, and all I would need to see there is a transfer of an electron if you're showing me ionic, and a sharing or overlap where two electrons would be together, that would be a covalent bond. 74. How are these bonds different? Well, an ionic bond is formed when oppositely charged ions combine to form a molecule. Sodium chloride, or NaCl, or salt is an example. When the two molecules share an electron rather than exchange electrons, that's an ionic bond. The result is a covalent bond, which is stable. More stable. Does that help? You need to, and these I have longer answers than I'm sure that you do. And that's fine, because you're just cutting the chase. I'm trying to just do an explanation sort of with it. So if you get the idea, how are they different? I would have just said, well, we transfer an electron in ionic and we share them in covalent, and that would be sufficient. Does that make sense to you to say? So I say it that way. 75, I'll read the whole answer, but it says here, the polar molecule differs from an ion in that, like an ion, a polar molecule has an equal number of protons and electrons, but the electrons in a polar molecule are distributed in such a way that the electrons are concentrated more in one end of the molecule more than the other. This creates a molecule that is slightly positive at one end and slightly negative at the other. That good? Ask me questions if you think I've been too verbose or whatever, or you can't figure out what to do with it. 26 or 76, excuse me. Isn't that right? Is that where I am? Yeah. 76, a stable molecule's atomic nucleus is stable. The nucleus of a radioactive isotope is unstable and is decomposing. The energy that results from decomposition and radiation. What are those three things that come out of an unstable nucleus? They are Greek letters, alpha, beta, and gamma, correct. 77, radiation, especially that of gamma type, is destructive to cells. The hope is to concentrate the radiation precisely enough so that the cancer cells are destroyed and normal cells are spared. But that all depends on how deep it is and the angle at which they got to set their rays, or whether they be helium nuclei, or they're going to be electrons, or they're going to be the energy of the gamma ray. These things were all part of that. Let's go on here. Did I have this thing drawn on there for you, or did I not? Pardon? Okay. So, and it was glucose that I gave on there? C6H12O6, right? All right, good. So that's what I should have had there at 78, as I put here. The name of that, of course, is a glucose. And 80, it's an organic compound, but no nitrogen in it. I did this here. I don't know if I steered some of you wrong when you asked me questions, but I mean, if you look at this, A plus B gives you AB. Well, that's something you put together. That's synthesis. AB breaks into A and B, then that's decomposition. And you might say, well, 83 is a combination of 81 and 82, because forward it's this, backward it's something else. So I just put that one as reversible. And that's this little arrow that you see. 84 pH is the measure of hydrogen ion concentration. Number 85 is acid. 86 is base. 87, that's acid. 88 is base. 89 is base. 90 is acid. 91 is acid. And distilled water is neutral. It says here, what's the pH range in human organism? It's 7.35 to 7.45. If you're above or below, you're dead. You don't do that very often, like maybe only once, and that'll be it. You're done. The other thing I want to say to you too is that a lot of times the Coca-Cola has always been a good, well, it's kind of good for just about everything. It's good to drink, although it's not my favorite. cleaning battery posts, cleaning anything off the front of your car, grease in particular with regard to the underneath the hood of a car. I mean, Coke is a great substance. It effervesces when you pour it on things. The bubbles are there, the carbon dioxide's coming out. It's a good stuff to have around the shop because anytime something's a little cruddy, Coke will get it, that sort of thing. Now you will have to wipe it or blow it off because the one thing that will be left as it dries is sugar. And you don't want that on electrical contacts. Does that make sense that way? Okay. Good. 94. Water allows the release of ions from inorganic matter by acting as a solvent. Water is the medium which most chemical reactions occur, and water helps regulate body temperature through evaporation. Anything of that kind would be great, even if it's just one of them. Carbon dioxide is a waste product in your body's metabolism. Combines with water to form carbonic acid, which it contributes to the acid-base nature of your blood, keeping your pH right. Now, you can dump a lot of things into your blood because you have a thing called the buffer, that as soon as it goes high, well, it can just kind of take that up, that H plus off, and take it away as carbonic acid being stored in the compound. When you want to release some more, it just lets off one of those hydrogens. That's all it does. So that's how it keeps your pH what it should be. All right. Oxygen is used to release energy from glucose molecules. Isn't that right? Hey, what are the energy molecules we use in all cells? The compound, an acronym. A, T, P. Good. So be sure. 97. Inorganic salts act as ions and that participate in a metabolic process, including the transport of materials in and out of the cell. They participate in muscle contraction, conduction of nerve impulses. I was reminded last weekend, as I was talking to my wife, she was telling me about my brother-in-law who's had some health issues, and some of them he's going to get chemotherapy for one. But the one thing he did, he's like me, he doesn't drink unless he's thirsty. But that's not the way we work. We're supposed to stay hydrated. What happened was he passed out due to the fact it was a little warm, but he works out in the heat all the time. But he hadn't had any drinks. And so basically he just dehydrated enough to where it was his heart pushing sludge rather than blood, which gets to be pretty difficult for your heart to do. But at his state, or even mine at that thing, I need to drink, or that kind of thing can happen to me with the situations I face. All right, enough said there. 99, am I right here, guys? Yes? Says here 99, the variety of sugars, monosaccharides. Humans store carbs in the form of glycogen. Where do they store that glycogen? You should remember if you had me last year. Liver, thank you. It says here also, describe monosaccharides, disaccharides, polysaccharides. Well, monosaccharide is one sugar. Disaccharide is two joined together. Trisaccharide would be three joined together, and that would be all it would take. And that would be a dehydration synthesis reaction in order to do that. 102, role of lipids maintaining a cell. Well, they basically put into the membrane, and it's what most of the membrane's made of, and so it decides just by the nature of who is a lipid and who is not, who goes out, who goes in, who doesn't, and who doesn't. And that's basically how it works. It's by the nature of it being made by a phospholipid. 103, fatty acids and a glycerol. How many fatty acids? 3. If it's a triglyceride, if it's going to be one in the membrane, it's a phospholipid. Okay. 104, saturated. 105, unsaturated. 106, Says here a glycerol molecule with 3 fatty acid molecules. 107. Phospholipids, glycerol, 2 fatty acids, and a phosphate group function in the cell membrane of cells. They are selectively permeable. The phosphate molecule is the head, and it is soluble in water. The fatty acid portion is insoluble in water, so they're going to turn away from water. Steroids. Steroids, 4 connected rings of carbon atoms. The glycerol is a steroid found in all body cells and is used to synthesize other steroids like sex hormones and several other adrenal hormones, but they make up a lot of the cell membrane of all the cells of your body as well. It's not just those things. Steroids a good thing to take? Yes or no? Only when prescribed by a physician. Did you hear that? What kind of symptoms do you get if you're taking them, you're trying to build muscle mass, etc., and you're taking them in the wrong dosages and all that stuff? What kind of thing happens to you gentlemen? Speak. Yep. You're going to put on weight. What kind of weight will it be? Generally, it's not fat. If you're working out also, it'll put muscle mass on you. Make you feel good, like you got more energy if you're on a steroid. Gives you kind of a nervous, whatever, like, well, I'll do this to slake this feeling I've got. I'll work out. And then it also adds that muscle mass. Over the long haul, what else does it do to you? Yes. Say again? Yeah, it hurts your liver over a fashion of time and your kidneys. Anything else?
Does it affect the hormones?
Very much. All of it, because see, if you mess with one hormone, you mess with all of them. They all have to be in a certain balance that makes you uniquely. Guys, typically over a fashion of years, will get acne, again, regardless of your age or how far you are. And it also will give you a mood swings, unpleasant mood swings, violent actions, etc. It'll also make your testicles smaller. Somehow or another, some men kind of object to that kind of thing. And the other thing is it may make you sterile, meaning incapable of having children should you choose to want them. How long is how long, or how do you know when I get the muscle mass I want, then I'll quit? Well, it's kind of like this now. I know some of you might laugh, but I mean, it's me, okay? People ask me after they see a couple of guns of mine, and I'm like, they'll ask me, well, do you have any other guns? Yeah, I got, over there. And then they'll say to me, well, then you're done, right? You're done buying them. You got all the ones you want. And I'm like, no, just one more. And then they'll see me a year or two later and they'll say, so is that okay? You got all the guns you want? Well, one more, And so the idea is the same, that if you're using a steroid and you're getting huge and you're liking the results, and someone says, well, you're big enough, aren't you? And your answer will be, no, I want to be just a little bigger, just a little faster off the line. Y'all hear that there? That's what it's about. That's who we are, unfortunately. All right, answer these questions concerning proteins. Proteins are the structural materials of cells. They can function as energy sources once the nitrogen molecules have been split off. We must take those nitrogens off. They call that deamination. They can function, as I said there before, they are hormones, antibodies, enzymes. They also function as receptor hormones in the membranes, letting things in and out of the cell. They're built by having amino acids connected to other amino acids, etc. And there's 20 of those. Says in 11, it's amino acid sequence. 12, denatured, when it's not quite the right shape. 14, they store information in a molecular code and direct the synthesis of various other proteins. Did you answer these? Yes, yes? Good. Why is it important for human beings to have an adequate amount of water? Well, all chemical reactions that happen in your body take place in water. So if you have a little water, that means some of those reactions happen and some don't, which means certain parts of your physiology will not function until you have enough water. That's what being hydrated is about. How much is hydrated? Well, that's something you can determine yourself for when your activity is high, your activity is low. Well, which is it that we've got to do? So those are things you got to figure out. And not everybody is the same. Not everybody's activity level is the same either, or their metabolism either. So that's something you got to have. What's likely to happen to a chemically active chemical activity if the body is deprived of adequate amounts? Certain things will not happen. Surely the first thing you'll get is a little bit dizzy, and then you'll probably pass out, like my brother-in-law did. That'll probably be the way that it goes. There could be other dramatic effects. Before he went to his face, he said he felt like there was a piano on his chest, and I'm sure what that was is a feeling of angina. His heart was working to push that sludge along, that he couldn't move it along very fast or very well. So his blood pressure was probably sky high, and it just about took him out. 117, list the mechanisms by which an individual may become deficient in water. Well, we often think of, well, I just didn't drink enough. Well, that's not good. One of the things, think about all the times you could be dehydrated from something other than your activity. Can you come up with any? Yeah, Colette. Sick, how sick? Describe. Louder. Yeah, you vomit, you do anything like that, you're losing water. You have diarrhea, you're losing water. If you've gotten a stomach flu, you come close to really being pretty bad dehydrated because you can't keep anything down. And the first tendency a child's got is after they've thrown up as, mommy, I want a drink. Well, as soon as you get the drink, what's the kid gonna do? He's gonna spew like a warm can of pop. I mean, all over the place, you know? So you say, have this ice chip. It'll satisfy you, but it won't be a drink. Or my mom used to give me a wet hand towel so I could suck the water out of it. Wouldn't be very much, but it would satisfy the urge I had for thirst. But the idea is that in this case here, when you have that kind of sickness, lots of water's going out of you that should be staying in you. Y'all hear that there? There are all kinds of things that can happen that can affect your water retention. I'll give you another one. I'm taking what is that sucker's name? Hydrochlorothiazide. You ever heard that name before? Hydrochlorothiazide is the go-to medication for people with hypertension. What's another name for hypertension? High blood pressure, correct. So the first thing they do, and now think, this is a genius little thing to think about. So this little tiny kind of yellowish pill I take for this, what it does is it keeps, are you with me here? Eliminating water and pulling water out of my system. Well, if you got this volume of blood and you got high blood pressure, what will lowering that volume of blood do? Lower the what? Blood pressure. So for a long time, that worked just fine. And that's kind of how everybody starts with hypertension. You get the hydrochlorothiazide, but here's what happens. If you take water that normally your hydration level should be here and you take some down and out, what happens to your mouth when you're on hydrochlorothiazide? you got to have what? Every now and then more. You got to have another drink. You replace the drinking or hydrating with alcohol. What's that going to do? It's going to remove it in faster, and you're going to dry out even more. So all those sorts of things all go with it. So some of it is athletic, but some of it is also just function of what pills you're taking. If you are taking any, some antibiotics are in such a way that you've got to be super hydrated for it to work well. Or you got to have it even, you know how you got drugs, they say eat with the meal, and you got some without? That's part of the reason as far as the hydration of your body to be able to take it and assimilate it into your body in all the places it needs to go. All right. There was, let's see. Do you guys have any questions before we go on? Anything you want to hear or you thought was something and it was something else and I told you wrong and that kind of stuff? Yeah.
What was the third?
1, 3, correct? Okay. I read an answer of A, is that correct? An atom is electrically charged. Wouldn't it be what? I don't know, let me read the rest of them. An atom has gained an electron. An atom has lost an electron. An ion is, yeah, I'll take D for an answer. Good girl. Anything else? Any other questions? Something repeated? Yes, sir. 20? Two major types of chemical reactions. You could have also put exothermic, endothermic, or endergonic, exergonic. You could put two major types. What'd you put? You did what? For 20? Say the two that you put down loud and use complete good diction.
I use chemical and synthesis.
Huh. Well, when you had chemistry, you probably remember that you had decomposition, synthesis, double displacement, single displacement. Then you learned combustion. Then you learned, y'all hear, there's names of those. But if they were to say two and they said they were majors, I would not have chose the ones you did. The second one maybe I would have, but not the first, because that's still too broad. So I would give that an X. Like that. Yes, sir.
You go down to 35.
I can. 35, 35. Die is 2. Die is 2. Don't you check them out? You forgot what? Well, then if you didn't have them, they're wrong, but you may write them in. I think that would be important for future. Anybody else? Are we peachy? Okay, all right. So we're done, everybody? Okay, good. So I'm going to go back to on campus here. Oh, wait a minute, I guess I don't need to do that. It's already open. Let's see this. Come on, you hunk of junk. Don't stall on me. There you go. All right, so let's go to chapter 2. Oh, you're going to be that funny, huh? Okay, so let's go there. And 19, something's wrong here. No wonder that didn't look right. Okay. Well, let's go to 18. I'm looking for chapter 2 study guide. I don't see that anymore. Let's see here. There we go. So right here, when I get into that, what's that number it says at the back end of it? It says 100. That's how many there are possible. So you're going to take the number wrong from 100. And that's going to be your score. That's your percent. Yes.
Does the glucose molecule count as a monosaccharide?
One more time.
The glucose counts as a monosaccharide.
Yes. All right. And as soon as you have that, here you got a job. You got to attach this assignment. Then you're going to write down how many correct out of 100. And then you're going to write one single sentence telling me what was the most difficult part of this assignment. 3 things. Attach, give me the grade out of 100, tell me how many you got. And lastly, write me a single sentence telling me the hardest part. Don't give me numbers like number 99 was hard. No, I want to know the theme that was missing for you or the theme that you could not remember that was difficult for you. And then when you have that, go down to the lower right-hand corner of the bottom right-hand box and click submit assignment. And I'll see who's done when here. But we need that done now. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Just look up at me when you're done. I also have this to look at to see when most of you are. Yeah.
I don't charge my thing. It's just that.
Is there another table back there? Yeah. Go ahead. Back right. And I hear Trevor doesn't bite too hard. Well, some of you are getting this in. A few of you aren't yet. Mm, yes. Do you have that submitted already? Good. Doing better here. We got a few more in. We are not testing on this chapter. That is correct. Did you all hear what you just said? There is no test for chapter 2. Once we get this in the book, that we're done with this topic. Thank you. Is it what? Unfortunately, yes, but not to the degree I would put a test on. Normally what I look at is I go through it and here's a test. I put these on. When I get to this, I put a little fewer on. Okay. But I try to put the ones in any case that you pretty well can do. Just have about 5 or 6 more of you to go. Kelly, yours is not going in too well? Trevor, how about you, buddy? Okay. Abby, what's going on with you? Noah? Okay. How's about Alexandra? Tabitha? And Colette, you still waiting for it to give ho? Okay. We'll wait just a second or two here so we can see him in. Okay, well, while that's happening, let me do this. The next chapter that you've got in here, you look at what looks like with the right parts down here. Yeah, so this has in it some chapters in biology. A cell would be a whole chapter. And then there's a part that's on the membrane of the cell. So that's osmosis and diffusion, which you all learned from the last year. Then we have mitosis. The mitosis is part of it. And what we didn't talk a lot about was cell differentiation. So that will come with it as well. So what is that? 3 or 4 chapters, all in what, 2 pages? This book, and this should be somewhat encouraging to you, this book is written for people who want to be techs on, say, a radiology machine or an MRI or something of that kind in college. So this is a college text as well, but it isn't the same text that, say, a nurse would have or anybody in the healthcare field beyond techs would do. You can see it's kind of diminutive in that case. Other books you have in the subject for those that are going into that line of thing. For Grey's Anatomy, is probably the most used. And here it is now. It's updated. It's an old one. This was 9 years ago. But you get the idea that, not a lot of pictures, a lot of reading about understanding the physiology. So this book is kind of written and tailored to the student who's not going to probably go to a 4-year institution, but the medical profession has to know a number of things, and that's what that book's used for. So be encouraged that you are being challenged, one, just as though you would be if you were in college. This is a text used. I think it is still being used in college at Page and a few other 2-year and 4-year institutions as well. So that chapter that comes is about the cell. We're going to do all of it, but it's going to be zoom, meaning I will not go through it as slow as I would the first time we learned it last year. So I will take it kind of a little faster and expect that you're going to know more. The study guide for this is About like this last year, really. Just did, but just maybe a little more lengthy, not much. And the test has its angles. That's coming. By no means is it any kind of a difficult test as I look at all the tests that you take. If I had to say what your hardest test would be, it would be tissues. Is that correct, ma'am, in your opinion?
Yes.
Tissues is the first one because you gotta memorize what the tissue looks like. So that when I put it on the screen, you're gonna say, that there's epithelium, that's connected. That's muscle, that's nerve, that's connected. And be able to say that's bone, that's blood, that's liver tissue, all that sort of stuff. Like that. So that'll be that test. And if you're looking in the microscope set up on the table in the back of the room and run through them. So it's kind of thing. Yeah, everybody? Do you have any questions? Nada? Okay, good. This class ends at 12 or just after or what? Okay, in 3 minutes, I'm gonna have us start doing the chairs or that. You had this and you had this, and you clean both. Okay? But I'll start that in just a couple minutes. Hey, what's up? Say again?
I'll go to the bathroom.
Yeah, is this, I told her the wrong time. We're past 47. Okay.
Can I turn in my thing tonight at some point? It's my computer. I charged it last night, but apparently I charged it didn't work.
Of course you can.
Thank you.
How's your day?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First period?
I don't. That's when I kind of get my act together. Yeah. Hey, what'd you do this summer?
Well, I played a lot of cello.
You're a cellist. I did not know that.
10 years and counting.
Wow.
So that's been fun.
So when Rathbun left, did you become first chair?
Yeah, now I'm
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad though. I really miss him.
He is. I mean, you find people that are like this. They're gifted at everything they touch, and they could be an expert at it in that, whatever that is. He was a remarkable person in that way. And you don't see that very often where they can turn their hand to anything. So you practiced a lot?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was sitting next to him always, so it was like, it was fun to have someone who's like also really good at cello and just like being able to play sounds really nice.
He loved the cello. We talked about it in class. And he took this class totally out of his wheelhouse of experience and got an A. And
He talks about his cat all the time.
Did he?
Right? I think he named it him himself.
Named it what?
He named his cat. Oh no.
Good gracious, what are you boys doing over there?
I think we should start cleaning.
Yeah, thank you. All right, guys, you need to stand next to your seat, so I know what seat. Stand by your seat. I need whoever is sitting back here. Whoever is seated back here.
Thursday morning.
Oh, really? Stand next to your desk, please, so I know what desk, please. Gotta wait for that to come along. Tell me what they say. Why did they knock you down? Nobody's here? No one's here. Connor. Ramirez, you are also too good. What? No, I think you write down right there. Your email and name. Quick, right there. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, Mr. Rhodes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes.
Thank you. Bye-bye, you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All set.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank
want
you.
to add that one too. Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Anna Nemchuk, please see Mrs. Winstead in the kitchen. Anna Nemchuk, please stop by the kitchen. The following students, please stop by the front office. Val Trudina.